Hey. Shabbat Shalom. I think this is, my first recording on Shabbat, actually. So, Achim ve'achayot, mishpacha sheli bruchim habaim. Welcome back, and I'm bringing you the latest edition of the coverage of the Hebrew letters and their proper writing forms. I have to tell you, Zion, I have to tell you, it finally happened. It finally happened to me. It came in the mail today, my ARP card, AARP, and its apparent fringe benefits. Yeah, the 50s Club. So I have to listen to a little bit of hip music or something in order to continue to brainwash myself here. I'd rather do the music than the skinny jeans. Not going to do it, okay? All right, so we're going to cover really quickly here the next several letters of the Hebrew alphabet in our continuing series, okay? Don't freak out. There's a little bit of a wrinkle today in that we also have to cover the final forms of these letters. As you may know, Hebrew has at least 5 letters, you guys, 5 letters that appear differently when they fall at the end of a written word, okay? Not that big of a deal. They just become elongated and they hang below the writing line. That's all. Okay, I'm going to show you. There's nothing to worry about. Don't hyperventilate on me. Okay, hang with me. And we are going to take this journey together. Okay, I'm going to take this journey together. Okay, first, we're going to start with the letter Kaph. The letter Kaph. Okay, it has a dot inside. Make note of that. It has a dagish or a dot inside. The letter Kaph is equivalent to the English letter K in sound, okay? And it is valued at 20, okay? It's a very simple letter to write, not draw, right? Okay? It is over, down, and back, and you put a dot inside. Simple, okay? Over, down, and back with a dot inside. Real simple piece of cake. You want to keep this letter as square as possible, okay? And the reason why I'll remind you that you want to do that is because you want to keep it as square as possible so that when you do start to learn the cursive form, which is more curvy and wavy, you won't confuse them, okay? Or you won't cause any confusion. Now, we don't have to go much further than this, okay, you guys? We don't have to go much further than this because even though over, down, okay, one move. You never have to lift the marker or the pen off of your paper. Over, down, and in. That is the letter Kaph. So now we don't have to go terribly far, okay, because for the very next letter, it's the same letter, but the letter Kaph, okay, the letter Kaph, you notice the only difference is it doesn't have a dot inside. It doesn't have a dot inside. And by removing that dot, it's pronounced Kaph. Kaph. Do you hear the difference? Kaph with a dot, Kaph without the dot. Okay? It is the same pronunciation as the 8th letter of the alphabet, which is Chet. Okay? So again, with the dot, Kaph, like a K. Without the dot, Kaph. Okay? As in lachnes. Okay? So yeah, piece of cake. Now, the letter Kaph does have a final form, and I want to show it to you. Kaph has a final form called the Kaph Sofit. It's called the Kaph Sofit, okay, because the Hebrew word for end or final is sof, okay, but the word for letters in Hebrew, ot, singular, otiot, plural, it's a feminine word. So, Sofit, okay, with the feminine tav at the end to distinguish them. Kaph Sofit, okay, Kaph Sofit. So the Kaph Sofit simply works almost the same way as the original form. It's simply over and straight down. That's it. And that's all. Over and straight down. You want to hang a little bit below the writing line. And that's it. Okay? That's it. To show them to you side by side so you see what I mean about hanging below the writing line. The Kaph Sofit will do this and straight down. That's it. Piece of cake, okay? So in essence, we've kind of covered 2 letters, even though it's the same letter. All right. So we move from there to our next letter. Our next letter is Lamed. Lamed, okay? Lamed is the shepherd's staff, okay? Even the name of the letter comes from the root word lamad, which means to learn and or to study. For example, Talmud. Okay, don't freak out. Don't get triggered. I'm only using that as an example, all right? Lamed, okay, so lilmod means to study, okay, to study. Lilamed means to teach. Talmid means student, okay? Yeshua had Talmidim, what we call disciples. This letter, Lamed, is valued at 30, okay? At 30, and it's written in a very simple way. Down, over, and down. See that piece of cake? Down, over, and down. You never have to lift the marker, pen, pencil, crayon, piece of lipstick off of the paper. Okay? Whatever you're using to write with. Down, over. Even in showing you the direction of writing, I still end up writing. Lamed, down, over, down. One smooth movement. Don't lift that writing utensil off of your papyrus scroll, okay? That's the Lamed, valued at 30, equivalent to the L sound. L as in Larry, moving right along. We're killing it, you guys. We're killing it. The letter Mem is the next letter. The letter Mem, Mem is valued at 40. Mem is valued at 40, and it is associated with water. Water, okay? The Hebrew word for water is maim. Maim in Arabic, it's mai. Mai, okay? Mem, equivalent to the English M, as in M&M. M&M candy or peanut. I prefer the yellow bag. I swear by the yellow bag, okay? Now, Mem does have a final form, okay, but we'll cover the original form first, the standard form. So you're simply going to draw a hump, or write a hump, up, over, and in. And you're going to simply put like a little wiggle on the top. Little wiggle on the top, okay? So a hump, over, and in. You leave a little space in between there, right? And you're going to put a little wiggle on the top. Okay, so you'll see it like this. And you'll also see it in triangular form. Either way is right. You know, there's no right or wrong. But it will be a triangle, over, and it'll have a little ear on it. This is how some people prefer to write it. Triangle with a little ear. That's the letter Mem. That's the letter Mem, okay? Again, valued at 40. Valued at 40. So I will put the regular Mem up there again slowly. Okay? A hump, up, over, in. Leave a little gap and a little wiggle at the top. The Mem Sofit is very simple. Very simple, you know. I told you there was nothing to freak out about, all right? Hyperventilate or anything like that. It is merely almost a box. So you go over, down, over, up, and you taper in a little bit so as to leave an overhang in the front. Okay, you see that? So again, for the final, for the Mem Sofit, down, or over, down, over, and then taper inward just a little bit in order to allow for a little bit of an overhang in the front. I know those are both different size boxes, but it's killer on the neck trying to look at this thing and do this. The idea is to have it in the same shape and, you know, or proportion. And as you go along, you will master that. Okay, at least you won't have to write on a dry erase board next to your dome piece. Okay, so again, regular mem, up, over, down, with a wiggle on top. Okay, with a wiggle on top. And the mem sulfite is a square, basically, but you want to taper up and inward to the right so as to leave a little bit of an overhang there, ladies and gentlemen. That is the mem sulfite. And finally, sof sof, besof sof, besof hadavar. The end of the matter is the final letter for today. We're only at 11 minutes, which I feel pretty good about. I have to make myself stop yapping, though. Okay, the noon. The noon also has a sulfite form, but it's just as simple as the mem. Noon, the letter noon, is valued at 50. Okay, it's equivalent to N in English. N as in noodle or November or narrative. Okay, noon, noon. Okay, the noon is very simple. Okay, it has a distinctive head at the top, just a little head, down, and a foot at the bottom. How easy is that? How easy is that, okay? So again, you have a little distinctive head at the top, kind of like the Vav does, down, a little foot at the bottom. All right? Again, piece of absolute German chocolate cake, you guys. Making myself hungry. Over, down, and over again. And the final form of this letter, and the final form of our final letter for today, the Nun Sulfite, it's very simple. Okay, the letter Nun is associated with a seed, life. That seed, yeah, that seed too. Kind of looks like it if you've ever seen science, microscope action. Okay, the Nun Sulfite. The Nun Sulfite, the final form, is simply a distinctive little short head like on the standard letter, but you want to dip down below the drawing lines. I realize that's angled. Oh man, I probably couldn't walk straight right now either, even if I wanted to. Sorry about that. So you're going to have a distinctive head and straight down, still angled. No equilibrium here. Idea is straight though, you guys. It's straight, okay? That is the Nun Sulfite. The Nun Sulfite, okay, the final form. Regular Nun and the Nun Sulfite, the way it appears at the end of a word. Okay, so having said that, you guys, it has been a pleasure again to be with you on another day. Okay, first time I have done a recording for Hebrew on Shabbat, and that's beautiful and fine. It's perfectly allowable. Okay, this has been for this week Parashat Bo, covering the last 3 plagues that broke the back of ancient Egypt and its pharaoh, who would be a would-be god, and found out that he was nothing of the sort. Okay, plagues, darkness, and the killing of the firstborn. More importantly than the story, I want you to keep in mind the details. Those details are important, but more importantly, coming out of this, the Most High, Yud He Vav He, he established himself as the Ha Elohim, the creator. Okay, and he had to show the creation that he is the creator, and also it fostered. Or it commemorates the Exodus from Egypt. It commemorates the Shabbat, right? Because as soon as our ancestors came out, they kept the Shabbat. Okay, and also the sanctifying of the first of months, bringing about Pesach and the story of redemption. Okay, from the house of bondage unto freedom. Okay, yeah. So at any rate, I'm out, and I hope that this Shabbat will be and has been sweet to you. And that you can carry a little of its sweetness over into the week to come. Until then, I will see you for the next video. Keep writing, keep writing, keep writing, you guys. See you soon.